Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Schilling with Secoya Health, bringing this week's Wednesday Wellness Minutes. And we're going to try to bring you some helpful information to understand how you can dramatically change your life or the life of your loved ones with some simple ideas of understanding how MSCs can benefit you or your loved ones. Now, MSCs are what are called medicinal signaling cells. They used to be called mesenchymal stem cells, but everybody calls them MSCs for short. And what they are is these cells are donated and harvested in hospitals when people give birth and have planned cesareans. So this is the veritable fountain of youth. This is close to Ponce de Leon's jackpot we could ever find. Okay, and so why is this important to you, and why am I so passionate about it? If you don't know my story, you know my mom had MS 6 years before I was born, so I didn't get the jackpot as far as the gene pool. I do everything I can to maintain the best temple I can in my body, but I also do things that are preventive, right? So at the tender age of 42, what I do is I've already been to Colombia and I've received 110 million of these medicinal signaling cells in my body. I've had reparative and preventative stuff done with my knees. I'll soon have one in my shoulder as well, because when you play football, it's kind of a tough sport, and on turf it's even harder. So I have several injuries plus separated shoulders from hockey and all kinds of fun stuff that I need to prevent them from becoming problematic, shall we say. And it's never as simple as just one thing. We always, if you've heard me say, no one thing causes any one thing. So we always want to understand that this is one tool we have to dramatically improve your life or the life of your loved ones. And so what we want to talk about is some simple ideas of what are 5 ideas that you can understand on a simple, basic level of how they can benefit your life. So first and foremost, reducing inflammation is really critical. Most of us are losing the battle to inflammation, and when we have the opportunity to reduce that by using these medicinal signaling cells, these MSCs, we can do that. So what it's going to do is there's some fancy words like cytokines and tumor necrosis factor alpha, and we can get nerdy on more macrophages and all these kind of crazy medical terms and scientific terms we don't need to understand. Like, think about macrophages like Pac-Man that comes in there and eats up the dead tissue, and the tumor necrosis factor alpha, TNF alpha, that's a pro-inflammatory mechanism in your body. So when your body gets injured, your body sends these guys in there, and there's chemical messengers. So what MSCs do is they block the migration of these macrophages that are damaging the area, and they decrease the cytokines, these fancy words for inflammatory things like putting gas on a fire, right? So basically it stops the guys that are carrying the cans of gas to the fire, and it shuts them down, as a simple understanding. One of the other things besides inflammation, when a joint is injured or some of your tissue is injured, you can also have pain. And so if you think about any joint you have, whether it's an ankle, a knee, a shoulder, a hip, it's a closed capsule. And if you understand that, nothing should get in, nothing should get out. Now, we know from working with this kind of stuff that microorganisms like bacteria and stuff can get in there and things like that. But if your immune system is strong enough, they stay balanced. But if nothing can get in or out, from a larger standpoint, shall we say, your body has a tough time bringing in new blood flow and things like that. So when a joint gets injured and has an inflammatory response inside that joint, it's going to cause pressure, and that pressure is going to put pressure on bones, on the periosteum of the bone and where the joint sensors are, and it's going to limit your range of motion. It's going to cause you different levels of pain. So when you have these medicinal signaling cells, these MSCs come in, they decrease the inflammation, right? They signal your immune system to come into the area, which we'll talk about more in a minute, but it's really important to understand that they decrease the pressure in your joint by blocking some of that inflammation as well. Not just the migration of the cells, but also decreasing the injury and the intensity of that injury. Minimizing scar tissue. So some people have scars, Lord knows I have plenty of them to show for. I don't plan on doing anything about them because I'm not really worried about external scarring, because I've already mud packed that. If you don't know anything about mud packing, let us know. We'll help you out with injury sites. But when you understand scarring, like if you have a major injury to an area, like massive surgery, like pins, plates, and things like that, you can actually apply these to the scar tissue and help your body dissolve that scar tissue, okay? And scar tissue is not just external, right? So we have incisions like C-sections and birthing scars, and people get scars on their faces. I bit through my lip when I was 5 in a car accident, all this kind of stuff. But there's scarring on the inside as well. And what's really important is when you receive these cells through an injection, it actually will heal the scarring on the inside. Because when your body puts down fibrotic tissue, right, and it's there to keep things tight. And if there's no stability in the area and your body is trying to fight off that injury, it's going to hold on to that scar tissue pretty tight. Therefore, when the scar tissue is no longer needed because the injury is healing, your body can resorb that. It can send in helpful macrophages that can come and eat up that dead tissue and break up that scar tissue. So it's really important because, not only do these things come in and help your cells heal, but they also can break down that scar tissue. So promoting soft tissue regeneration. Now, we typically, not all the time, but oftentimes we use what's called PRP, which is platelet-rich plasma. Platelet-rich plasma. Don't try to say that 5 times fast. And platelet-rich plasma adds the platelets into the areas. Remember, these are closed systems. Like nothing gets in, nothing gets out, in theory. And so we don't get a lot of blood flow in there. And when these ligaments, tendons, and things like that, and the cartilage gets damaged and injured, these MSCs bring in with the platelet, with the PRP, and we get in there and we start creating what's called angiogenesis. And angiogenesis, like, think of more blood flow. Okay, so your body needs blood to heal. That's why it pumps in and out of different areas depending on the level of inflammation and injury. And so we combine the PRP with the medicinal signaling cells to create that stimulation of the angiogenesis in the blood flow, which will help it heal even faster. And last but not least, the craziest thing about this is that they don't have any destiny yet. So people think of fetal cells, and fetal cells are designed to make a fetus, which Lord knows, A, it's immoral, and B, they're not used anymore because you can't use them in a safe manner in humans. So what they do is, these are umbilical cord cells, and what they do is they are turned into whatever you need them to. They can turn into ligament, bone, cartilage, tendon, whatever your body needs. It's going to signal your immune system. Your immune system's going to say, hey, all right, hey, thanks for showing up, Bob. I need you to do some work over here. And then, Susie, I need you over here doing the cartilage. And, Johnny will do the tendon over here. And whatever your body needs, it's going to go to work. The general contractor puts them to work in the different areas. So they become tendon, bone, ligaments, cartilage, anything like that. Whatever your body needs. So that's why they call them medicinal signaling cells, because when they arrive, they signal, they're like, wave the flag, hey guys, we need some help over here, we've got a demo project, plus we're doing some reconstruction, things like that. And that helps your body help itself. Because remember, your body has an innate healing ability. But once you've had inflammation in an area of your body for more than 30 days, your brain and your body are like, well, it looks like we can't do a lot for you, so we're just going to stop paying attention to you. And so that just gets ward off, and your body deals with it. It just becomes adapted to it. And as a result, it basically moves forward and just says, well, I can't do much about that. I only have a small amount of these left. Like by the time you're 20, you have about 10% of all your medicinal signaling cells left in your body to repair for the rest of your life. So it's going to use them very sparingly. So as a result, that's when we bring these in from a donor and your body receives them, which they're completely safe. They're tested more rigorously than when you receive blood if you were to get injured in a car accident or something like that. So keep that in mind. They're very rigorously tested for all infectious diseases and stuff like that, and they check on the lineage, so there's no genetic issues as well. But when you understand that it can turn into ligaments, muscles, nerves. People with neuropathy, this is fantastic for people with neuropathy because neuropathy is a circulation issue. It's not a nerve issue. It's got all this junky lymph around these nerve cells. You can't get enough oxygen and nutrients down there, and it just starts shutting down. So when you get this in there and you can rebuild your muscle, rebuild your ligament, tendons, nerves, bones, cartilage, stuff like that, there is no limit to this kind of stuff as far as what it can do. So we just wanted to bring some information to you to help you understand what it is, excuse me, and help you understand like how these can dramatically impact your life and or the life of your loved ones. Because a lot of us have dealt with injuries and continue to push through. And the problem is we could take an NSAID like aspirin, Tylenol, ibuprofen, or Advil, things like that. And what happens is the issue's still there, but we cover it over. It's like taking black tape over a red alarm sign or your check engine light in your car, and you're just like, life's not slowing down, I got to keep going. So we just keep pushing through. The problem is we adapt to one injury, and then we, get another one, and it's just, let's say you're a runner and you tear a meniscus in your knee, and oh my gosh, that's kind of junky. So you get an arthroscopy. You go in there, pinholes, and you fix that, and supposedly fix it, right? Then later on, you get a hip that falls apart. Then, what's going on there? So now you get a hip replacement and stuff like that. I know someone intimately who's experienced this same scenario. He just had an injection in his hip on the right side in order to make sure that one doesn't go the way of his left hip. So these things work dramatically. I will continue to use this type of therapy as I need it, as I need to prevent things from becoming an issue, because I'm only 42 and I got another 80 some years to go. By the time it'll probably be 100 years, who knows? But all I know is that it's not how long you live, it's the quality of life. So if you are interested in, for yourself or someone you love, a higher quality of life, medicinal signaling cells are the bee's knees, the best thing since chipped ice, sliced bread, whatever you want to call it. They are phenomenal. I can personally attest to what they do for the inside and the outside. And so we're just really excited about them because we know that some of you out there need some help, and we want to bring you all the tools you need to maximize your quality of life. So we hope this has been beneficial, and let us know if there's any questions you have about them or if there's more information you want about them. And if you have any comments below, feel free to share them, because I can guarantee if you have a question or a comment or an idea or a concern or something like that, other people have the same. So we always learn better as a community. You know, it takes a tribe, as they say, not just for kids, but for everybody else as well. So share your ideas with us. Let us know how we can help, and we'll look forward to serving you and provide more value for you next week on the Wednesday Wellness Minutes. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.